Hey guys, Izanagi here, and today I want to do a video on the rise of the far right in Britain and has racism become a more common thing. And this is basically, this is a bit of a heavy topic. This is something I've experienced recently that I wanted to talk about, and also to do with like the current world politics, the rise of reform, and like just right wing anti-immigration sentiments in general. So, alright, let's just get right into it. No script here. I haven't planned anything out. I'm just going to talk about what's on top of my head. So, recently, yes, there's going to be a far right protest happening in London soon. I know some people don't label it as far right. They're patriots, right? Wink, wink. But I will talk about that afterwards. So, I want to start off with by explaining something that happened to me recently when I was on my way, when I was on the bus going somewhere. I sat there, had my headphones in, listen to music as you do, nothing really out of the ordinary. Some guy gets on the bus. It looks a bit rough. Don't really pay much attention. He sits all the way at the back of the bus. Bus driver starts on our way, and then all I hear is just this shouting and ranting and raving, and I got my headphones in, right, so I can't really hear what's going on. So then I kind of I take them off, like, wait, what's going on? The guy at the bus, at the back of the bus, is basically just saying, I bloody hate foreigners, black and brown people. They get free this, free that, free houses. I don't get fuck all. And how can I be racist if I'm telling the truth? Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, this guy, he is intoxicated. He's on some sort of drugs, maybe. And I know people might be like, okay, well, you can't take him seriously. He's a drug addict, right? He's an alky. Which, yes and no. There's plenty of people in this country that have the exact same opinion and worldview as this guy. The only difference is they're not on any drugs or alcohol. If they were, they'd probably be saying the same thing on the bus, ranting and raving. And it, I just felt so fucking bad because it's like, there's obviously a lot of minorities on the bus, a lot of black and brown people. He was sat right next to a young couple with their kid who were black, right? And they're just, I don't know if he was directing that to them in particular, or he was just talking to himself. I couldn't really tell because this was happening all the way at the back of the bus. And I just, it's disgusting. And I just think to myself, is this sort of behavior being emboldened because of our current political climate and the way even social media has ran, where you've got people and they are basically, they spend all day on social media. They're being fed these like right wing algorithms day after day after day. They're being fed these posts and they're just getting brainwashed by this hatred and just vile bitterness. Like, I don't know what to say. And I know you'll be saying, oh, reform voters aren't racist. They're just anti-immigration. They want to cut the numbers down. And yes, that's true. There are certainly people who vote for reform that aren't racist. However, there's a lot of fucking racists that do support reform. And there's a lot of racists that will use quote-unquote immigrants as like, they'll be like, oh, well, we're not racist. We just want to get rid of immigrants, right? And that's just kind of like a facade. They actually do really want to get rid of black and brown people, but they're just using immigrants as like a you know, a kind of like a reflector. It's like, oh, this is what we really think, but we're just gonna use immigration as a scapegoat, right? And that's it. And you've got stuff like this, for example, the the old Britain First rally that's going on, hosted by good old oi Tommy Robinson, absolute wanker, by the way. Listen, it takes you less than 10-15 minutes of independent research online that will give you a good idea on who Tommy Robinson is, what he stands for, what his character is like, his past, previous criminal convictions, right? So, am I saying everyone that attends this march and protest is an asshole? I don't know. It's either one or two things. It's either you support this fucking absolute criminal, like fucking dickhead, racist, Israeli war criminal, or you are just completely ignorant to the fact this is the kind of person he is. And it's not just him, by the way, that Elon Musk is going to be the absolute fucking twat. Katie Hopkins, another absolute fucking twat. I could go, like, basically, think of all the worst people you can think of and just shove them into one place. That's basically who's going to be at this march. And people are complaining, it's like, oh, why are they getting so many police officers? They're trying to silence our voice. No, dickhead. The reason why they have to get so many police officers for these marches in particular, unlike the Palestine marches, is because, guess what? Spoiler alert, a lot of these marches are filled with fucking fat, balding, middle-aged men who ain't got a single fucking GCSE between them, who've been drinking all day, out in the sun, and they get a bit riled up and they start fights. That's the main demographic that's attending these rallies. And then I saw, this is funny, so someone was like, there's gonna be millions and millions of people at this rally. Like, fuck there are. Are you actually delusional? The last rally Tommy Robinson hosted, there was like 150k, 200k people tops. And by the way, that's not a small number. That's quite a significant number. I'm not going to deny that. But the reality is, these people are the vocal minority. They do not represent British people as a whole, and they do not represent our values. They're absolute pond life scum. All right? And I'm tired of pretending otherwise. I'm tired of being charitable to these people. I'm tired. If you attend a Tommy Robinson rally, and you've gone out of your way to do research on the guy and all the people that surround him, and reform on their politics, and you've come to the conclusion that, yeah, I'm going to vote for these people, I'm going to support these people, they represent my worldview, I'm sorry, you're a fucking dickhead. I'm not going to sit here and pretend you aren't. And I'm sure there's people that are just ignorant and haven't done their research. If you haven't done your research, I implore you to do your research. No good, honest, decent people are attending these rallies. It's an absolute joke, and I'm tired of pretending otherwise. And that's just it. I just want. This is pretty much a rant. I wanted to get this off my shoulders, and I do feel like this country is absolutely going down the shithole. You've got like these far right politicians, these far right public figures, and they're just fanning the flames of racism, hatred, and division. And like I said, I'm not naive. Like, you know, racism's always existed. Like that bloke on the bus, right? I mean, that probably happens all the time. But I've lived in Bristol for 20 years, and I've never experienced anything like that before. And it just feels like there's a pattern. There's a pattern going on where you've got this toxic ideology being pushed, and it is like influence people. People now feel more emboldened to be outwardly racist and just like verbally assault people, and like eventually it's going to lead to physical violence. I can see it. And this isn't the country I want to live in, and this isn't the country I was raised in. When I went to secondary school quite a long time ago now, you know, I had tons of mates. I had a Muslim mate called Ehsan. I had a Sikh mate called Sanil. I had a black friend, you know, etc., etc. My secondary school, a kid from Afghanistan called Mustafa. Like, so the point I'm trying to make is, like, you know, my secondary school was very diverse. I never had a problem with people from different ethnic backgrounds, right? You know, the guy who was, like, Muslim or Indian or black, I viewed the same way as the guy who was white. I viewed as a friend who was, like, white and British. Like, you know what I mean? To me, they are British. Like, at the end of the day. I've never been this kind of, like, I've never had that worldview. I've always grew up in, like, a multicultural kind of environment. So I've never had an issue. I just feel sorry. Like, I once again, this country's going to the dogs. So yeah, leave a comment in the comment section if you feel the same way. If you feel like this country is just going down a downward spiral. And by the way, I'm not saying Keir Starmer is perfect. I'm not saying vote for Labour. I'm not saying vote for Greens. I would, however, vote for any party that's not fucking Reform. Any party. Anyone. Period. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. And the reality is this: whether you hate Keir Starmer or like Keir Starmer is irrelevant. The immigration numbers have fallen. You can fact check this right now, in real time. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. And I understand people, they don't give a shit, right? Because at the end of the day, there's not like there is nothing Keir Starmer could do to please these people. He could fucking, I don't know, cure world poverty and cancer, and they would still hate him, right? That's just the reality. People just hate Keir Starmer. I'm not saying he's perfect. He's implemented a lot of dumb policies that I greatly disagree with, like, you know, the digital ID, cutting winter fuel allowance for pensioners, trying to increase the criteria for disability benefits, making it more difficult for disabled individuals to claim to be entitled to disability. Those are all things I absolutely hate and despise. However, he's not. I saw one guy compare Keir Starmer on Threads to Hitler. like you can't even like argue or debate with these people. A lot of them are bots, but a lot of them are actual real people that live among us, which is even scarier. So went on a tangent there. So, if you feel the same way as I do, you feel like the far right is rising in the country and it's become a lot more inhospitable and like the racism just feel like it's on the rise. Leave a comment. And that's it. All I can really say is have a good day, everyone. Stay safe, and we gotta speak out against this because this is absolutely bullshit, and this doesn't represent Britain, and this isn't the Britain that I grew up in. But other than that, guys, peace out.